Chapter 61 Killing Capital. You are listening at novelfull.audio. On a bed in a small-town hotel, Bibi Han woke up to the sight of her mother shedding tears. "Mom, what are you doing here?" Bibi Han shot up. "Honey, you're finally awake." Hearing this, Bibi Han offered a sad smile. Finally awake. If it weren't for that fourth gift package, she might never have woken up at all. The fourth gift package had contained a pill, a soul-reviving pill, strong enough to bring someone back from the dead, and meant only for her. Without it, Bibi Han would be history. Thinking of Tang Hao, Bibi Han's expression hardened. What about Tang Hao? I didn't kill him. Her mom had fought Tang Hao. Bibi Han's face brightened. Thank you, Mom. Honor, do you still have feelings for him? Bibi Dong frowned. Bibi Han shook her head. Not anymore. He wiped me out, remember? From now on, we're just enemies. Bibi Han wasn't holding on to any hope for Tang San either. If Tang Hao weren't alive, Tang San might have the chance to join the spirit hall. The enemies she'd face in the future were too powerful, and Tang San could have been a good ally. Bibi Han suddenly remembered, by the way, Mom, how did you know to come here? I had this terrible feeling, and then I heard you were going to the stage.Do forest, so I rushed over. Strong intuition, huh? Mom, I'm sorry. I went to Shrek Academy behind your back to find him. I know what you're trying to do. You want your brother to choose the right path, don't you? Bibi Han nodded. Mom, can you hold off on taking action against him for now? If he still chooses to be our enemy, I'll take him out myself. Bibi Dong considered it for a moment, then agreed. The next day, Bibi Han announced, Mom, I want to go to Killing City. Absolutely not. Bibi Dong refused immediately, her face deadly serious. Honor, you know what that place is. It's a dog-eat-dog world. Once you go in, even the spirit hall can't protect you. That's why I want to go. I don't lack anything right now. Except real life or death training. Mom, I'm level 54. I'm not even afraid of a soul saint in a fight. Only there can I get the kind of experience I need. Let me go. It's time for this young eagle to take flight. Bibi Dong hesitated, then her voice dropped. Have you really thought this through? Yes. Okay. Promise me you'll make it out alive. Bibi Han looked her dead in the eye and raised a fist. I will not die in that place. I still have too much to do. All right then. Get ready. We're going. High above, Bibi Han used the blue-silver wings attached to her soul bone to fly alongside Bibi Dong. Is this the attached soul bone you got from the blue-silver forest? Not bad at all. Yeah. Besides flying, it can also conceal my aura. At Shrek Academy, I used it to completely hide my soul ring and soul power level. Bibi Dong nodded gravely. Honor, remember this, you can't use soul skills in Killing City, and there are no rules. The only thing you can rely on is yourself. If you want to survive, you have to kill. Kill until you've terrified them, kill until they're trembling. Begging for mercy or running away is a death sentence. Got it. After a few days of flying, Bibi Dong brought Bibi Han to a small town. The town wasn't big, but the moment she stepped inside, Bibi Han felt the strange atmosphere. Everyone seemed to radiate a special chill, the reek of murder. Except for mother and daughter, everyone in this town was a desperado. Bibi Dong's appearance set everyone on edge, and their eyes gleamed with greed. After walking for nearly 10 minutes, the two came to a tavern. The air inside was thick and rank. Everything was decorated in blood red. Even though it was daytime outside, the whole place was bathed in an eerie crimson light. A waiter in black, his face impassive, approached them. What do you want? Bibi Dong said coldly, 2 Bloody Marys. Bibi Han spoke up. Mom, you don't need one. Didn't you say there are no rules here? Before anyone could react, Bibi Han unleashed her blue-silver god martial soul, revealing 5 soul rings, 2 purple, 3 black, the other patrons, all armed and looking mean, had been eyeing them with amusement, some even thinking of making a move on Bibi Dong. They were instantly swept away by a storm of blue-silver grass. Before most could even draw their weapons or summon their martial souls, the vines had pierced their chests. Bibi Dong looked surprised, then nodded in satisfaction. The death of dozens of people barely fazed the waiter. He remained calm, as if he'd seen it all before. But before he could speak, Bibi Han kicked him aside. "Get out of the way." Bibi Han summoned the clear sky hammer spirit and slammed it into the floor. A deafening crash echoed as a gaping black hole opened up in the ground. An icy wind howled out of the opening. Bibi Han turned back to her mother, who was watching with worried eyes, and grinned. "I'll definitely come out alive. Don't worry, Mom. You taught me everything I know." With that, Bibi Han jumped straight into the hole, disappearing into the darkness. After only falling a few feet, she felt solid ground beneath her feet. There was no need for light. Bibi Han's excellent eyesight allowed her to see clearly in the gloom. It was a long corridor, sloping down at an angle, with a constant, frigid breeze. It definitely inspired fear from the start. Let's see how terrifying the city of slaughter is. A place where God Shura himself tests the worth of his acolytes. After 1,000 or so steps, a cold voice echoed from all directions. "Welcome to the capital of slaughter. This is the capital of hell, a world of endless killing. Here, you can get whatever you want. But the price is your life." Bibi Han smiled in disdain. Does it really want to be a king in this depraved place? Needless, Bibi Han continued forward, rounding a corner, where a faint light grew ahead. "You broke the rules." Bibi Han ignored him and looked past him. There was the Black City. The thick, black city wall was massive. It was a city, all right. And hanging above it was a purple moon. After looking at him, he looked at him and said, "In a world of killing, there are still rules, so what if they are violated?" The black-armored knight's voice remained cold, devoid of emotion. "Then you must accept the punishment. Defeat me, and you'll earn the right to enter the capital of slaughter." The same coldness echoed in Bibi Han's voice. "Then hurry up. I am Dread Knight Scott." The warhorse surged forward, and the black-armored knight charged toward Bibi Han, radiating an aura of despair. An icy air filled the passage, along with an intense, murderous intent. Bibi Han stopped holding back, discarding her training gear. As the terrifying knight's spear hurtled toward her, she struck with speed, precision, and force. Bibi Han's eyes turned aqua blue, and she grabbed the spear's shaft with her left hand. Despite the force of the charging warhorse and the spear, Bibi Han only slid back a few feet. The knight could no longer move forward. The knight looked in disbelief. No matter how hard he strained, the spear wouldn't budge. "How do you have so much strength?" Bibi Han didn't answer. She balled her right hand into a fist and smashed it into the horse with all her might. Bibi Han punched straight through the warhorse, sending both it and the knight flying. Bibi looked at him coldly and said, "Do you still want to try?" "No need. You've passed my test. You're qualified to enter the city of slaughter," the Dread Knight said with difficulty. He couldn't understand how ordinary soul masters would be shocked upon arriving here for not being able to use their soul skills, but the youth in front of him didn't seem affected at all. And that power of his, how could any ordinary human possess that? A black token was handed to Bibi Han, who took it without ceremony. A skull was carved on it, with a number underneath, 7777. Not a bad number. This is proof of your presence in the city of slaughter. Please enter the city. Someone will greet you at the gate, Terror Knight Scott said humbly. The pitch-black city gate felt incredibly oppressive. On its massive surface hung 4 large characters, Slaughter Capital. The hors d'oeuvres were over. Time for the main course. Chapter 63 Hell Killing Field. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The door creaked open, and a woman emerged, her face hidden behind a black veil. "Welcome to the city of slaughter." Her voice was surprisingly pleasant. She stepped aside, gesturing for Bibi Han to enter. "I need to know where I can stay in the city, and if there's anywhere to train." Housing isn't a problem. Forget about stealing, it all depends on your performance in the hell arena. The better your record, the nicer the accommodations. If you've got no wins, you're sleeping on the streets, and you gotta watch your back constantly. Someone will always be looking to take you out. Training's available too, but there's a catch. You have to win 50 matches in the hell arena before you can access the dedicated training grounds. We've even got soul beasts that the city guard capture outside for you to use. Why 50 matches? Bibi Han asked. Because after 50 wins, you become a permanent resident of the City of Slaughter. Permanent residents get to train. So, the City of Slaughter is a power in its own right. Still, each Slaughter King plays it safe, never daring to step out of line due to the Spirit Hall's oversight. One more thing, how do I get Bloody Mary here? Easy. You kill someone. Take the body to a designated spot, and they'll give you 5 cups of Bloody Mary for it. Or you can trade it for a skull. Skulls are currency here. 1 skull equals 1 Bloody Mary. You can use them to buy stuff, or, of course, you can just steal what you need. Alright, take me to the hell arena. The veiled woman paused. You sure? Less than 1 in 10 make it out alive. It's where we lose most of our population. Everyone here has to fight in the hell arena at least once a year. If you survive even one fight, you get to live in the City of Slaughter for another year. Bibi Han replied calmly, definitely. I'm ready. By now, Bibi Han was deep within the inner city. The outer city was a bleak and desolate place. But the inner city was a riot of luxury and madness, neon lights flashing everywhere, creating a deceptive air of prosperity. A cacophony of sounds assaulted her ears. Some were filled with excitement and joy, others with groans of despair, and still others with the raw cries of pain. Peeking into a dark alley revealed scenes that made her skin crawl, and that was the hidden stuff. Right out on the streets, all kinds of couplings were happening, people contorting themselves into unimaginable positions. Bibi Han felt a wave of nausea wash over her. These people weren't human anymore, they were just animals driven by their basest desires. The open displays of sexuality were almost unbearable, making her deeply uncomfortable. She hadn't experienced anything like this in her life. The guide sensed Bibi Han's unease. Oh, Mr. Chi-Chi, haven't you ever experienced such things? The veiled woman asked, a note of amusement in her voice. Bibi Han didn't answer. Why not indulge yourself at Gentle Village before heading to the hell arena? It might improve your odds of winning. If you want, I can help you with that. The veiled woman sized Bibi Han up, her eyes filled with undisguised greed. Unnecessary. The veiled woman giggled, covering her mouth. A man's mouth is a liar. I can feel your heart racing already. She let her gaze drop to Bibi Han's lower body. Come on, the veiled woman purred, her tone growing more suggestive. Combined with the scenes on the street and the violent energy hanging in the air, Bibi Han felt increasingly ill at ease. Then, thump, thump, Bibi Han delivered 2 swift punches to his own kidneys, channeling air into hidden meridians, effectively shutting things down. Bibi Han said coldly, no need. Just take me to the hell arena. Now. Fine, fine. But don't blame me when you're dead. The veiled woman's voice lost its playful tone, turning flat and businesslike. Those 2 punches were a necessary evil. In a place like the City of Slaughter, you had to act, even if you didn't want those thoughts. Plus, suppressing those urges would only make them worse later on, and venting them would become crucial. So, you might be able to resist now, but you might not be able to later. Unless you're a saint, you're bound to have desires. This was the best way to deal with it. Guided by the veiled woman, Bibi Han found herself facing an unusual structure. It was circular, or more precisely, a truncated cone. It was widest at the base, tapering as it rose. At about 30 meters, the diameter became consistent, continuing upwards for another 20 meters. Impressive. Bibi Han strode up to a bald man, stopping directly in front of him without a word. With a lightning-fast movement, she snatched the Bloody Mary from his hand. The man didn't even have time to react. the veiled woman cried out in alarm, "Mr. Number 0, you can't just go around provoking people like that. Newcomer protection only goes so far." That the bald man finally registered what had happened, his eyes blazing with rage. A feral grin spread across his face as he drew a massive sword from behind his back and swung, facing the descending blade. Bibi Han calmly reached out with her left hand, her fingers gripping the steel with impossible precision. The bald man tried to yank the sword free, but it wouldn't budge. Fear began to creep into his eyes. "For the sake of your Bloody Mary, I'll let the attack slide. Just step aside." Bibi Han lifted her foot and delivered a crushing kick. The bald man went flying, landing 10 meters away with a thud, his sword clattering beside him. "Take me to the registration office," Bibi Han said calmly to the dumbfounded veiled woman. The woman was stunned. The bald man had won 10 straight matches in the Hell Arena. And this guy nicknamed the Butcher had been defeated so effortlessly. Upon entering, the Bloody Mary that Bibi Han was holding was poured into a huge container. "Please, register me. I want to fight in the next round," Bibi Han said to the woman at the desk. The veiled woman didn't hesitate. She no longer thought Bibi Han was on a suicide mission, and quickly processed her entry. Bibi Han, meanwhile, stood quietly in the waiting area, watching the ongoing battle. After 9 combatants fell, only one blood-soaked figure remained standing. He roared towards the heavens, pounding his chest in a frenzy, as the crowd cheered wildly. "Next group, please proceed. Contestants 25-27, 36-45, 7,777. Is it my turn?" The veiled woman handed the identity card back to him with both hands. "Oh, before I forget, I have 2 questions. What happens if someone registers but doesn't participate? And what happens if someone interrupts a match? If you register and don't fight, you have to forfeit 5 Bloody Marys, or everyone in the City of Slaughter will come after you. If you interrupt a match, no amount of Bloody Mary can save you. You'll be hunted down immediately. Both hunts only last 1 day, and anyone who kills someone challenging the Slaughter King's authority gets a huge reward." Bibi Han gave a strange smile, full of hidden meaning. "Thanks for the info." With that, Bibi Han headed towards the Hell Arena, 10 passageways, 10 people entering the killing field. Bibi Han was the least threatening among them, with a pretty face and unimpressive build. Almost everyone dismissed her as an easy target, focusing on the other contenders. A cold voice announced, "Begin." Bibi Han raised her left hand, and the clear sky hammer materialized. With a sudden burst of power from her legs, she shot forward like a cannonball, reaching the nearest fighter and swinging the hammer in a wide arc. The man's upper body was instantly obliterated. He died with a look of utter confusion on his face. Bibi Han's move stunned the remaining 9 combatants. It turned out that the one they underestimated the most was the most dangerous. Bibi Han slowly walked to the center of the ring. A disdainful voice rang out, "Become nourishment for my growth. All 8 of you, come at me." The 8 fighters went berserk. Never had they been so insulted by a newcomer. They surrounded Bibi Han, who wore an excited expression, rather than a fearful one. Tang Hao, I will master the same murderous intent as you, and I will come for my revenge. Blood soaked the killing fields of hell. 9 more corpses lay on the ground, mangled beyond recognition. The spectators in the stands looked on in horror. In a single minute, 8 people were brutally murdered, 1 swing each. 9 streams of soul power surged into Bibi Han, who closed his eyes to absorb them. It's not enough. This soul power is barely 10% of what the original owners had. I'll never advance at this rate. I need to complete 50 games quickly. Bibi Han returned to the waiting area, where the veiled woman still stood. Bibi Han said calmly, "Thanks for your help. You can go now." How naive. The real danger isn't just in the Hell Arena. It's all the people lying in wait to ambush you when you leave, injured. If you want someone to watch your back, I can stick around and help you blow off some steam, the woman said in her charming voice. No need. Go now. Don't waste your time on me. Suit yourself. Good luck then. Bibi Han walked up to another person, snatched their Bloody Mary, and resumed his killing spree. Chapter 64 Bibi Dong and Renxue. You are listening at novelfull.audio. In a black castle in Slaughter City, a tall, gaunt man in a blood-soaked ceremonial robe sat on a massive throne in a dark, cavernous room. He looked like a demon straight from hell. This was the King of Slaughter, ruler of the city. His blood-red eyes were fixed on a video feed of Bibi Han fighting in the hellish arena. Seeing the clear sky hammer in Bibi Han's hand, a cold smile twisted the King of Slaughter's lips. You're only the third clear sky sect disciple to enter Slaughter City in the last 1,000 years. Suddenly, a voice echoed, King of Slaughter, looks like you're doing well for yourself. The voice arrived before its owner. The King of Slaughter frowned, his lazy demeanor hardening. He looked toward the entrance, the closed doors burst open, and a woman swept in, clad in a luxurious black robe embroidered with gold, a 9-pronged purple gold crown atop her head, and an angel scepter in hand. It was Bibi Dong. The King of Slaughter's expression flickered. Bibi Dong. What brings you to my Slaughter City? Shouldn't you be at your spirit hall? You already know why I'm here. You're not to touch that kid, Bibi Dong stated flatly, her tone leaving no room for argument. The King of Slaughter chuckled derisively. I thought I was mistaken at first. The mighty Pope of the Spirit Hall, protecting a junior from the Clear Sky sect. When did the Spirit Hall and the Clear Sky sect become so chummy? That's none of your concern. Just know this, you're not to touch him. And what if I'm about to? The King of Slaughter sneered, clearly offended by Bibi Dong's attitude. Then I'll find a new King of Slaughter. With that, the King of Slaughter shot to his feet, crushing the wine glass in his hand. His killing domain erupted. Bibi Dong's eyes flared scarlet as she unleashed her own god of killing domain. The collision of their immense power shook the entire castle. Guards and maids alike were forced to their knees, their faces contorted with fear as they stared toward the King of Slaughter's chamber. After a long moment, the King of Slaughter withdrew his killing domain and sank back onto his throne, sneering. I won't touch him. If he dies in a fallen's ambush, that's none of my business. Bibi Dong dismissed his words with a disdainful smile, shutting down her own domain. A mere degenerate isn't worthy of killing him. She turned and left. Outside Slaughter City, Bibi Dong looked toward the Heaven Do Empire, her face troubled. She closed her eyes, hesitated for a moment, then flew in that direction. In Heaven Do City, at the prince's mansion, Renxue was diligently reviewing documents, posing as Xue Qinghe. Suddenly, the window flew open, letting in a gust of wind. Renxue frowned, scanning the room with her mental energy. Finding nothing amiss, she got up and closed the window. As she turned, her eyes widened. Standing before her was Bibi Dong. Renxue quickly regained her composure, offering a mocking smile. When did Her Majesty the Pope start climbing through windows? That it was clear that despite Bibi Han's appearance in this world, the relationship between Bibi Dong and Renxue remained strained. Bracing herself for pain, Renxue closed her eyes. But the expected blow never came. Instead, Bibi Dong removed her mask and pulled her into a hug. Renxue instinctively resisted, then stopped, activating her soul bone skill to revert to her true form. Perhaps it was the first time she'd felt her mother's warmth. She breathed deeply, greedily inhaling her mother's scent. Finally, as if a long empty space within her had been filled, Renxue pulled back, looking at Bibi Dong with confusion. Why? She asked hesitantly. Bibi Dong didn't answer directly, but instead recalled the moment when Bibi Han had almost been killed by Tang Hao. The memory brought back the pain, and she took a deep breath, steeling her resolve. Xue, do you know why I hate you so much? Renxue shook her head, and then Bibi Dong began to recount her tragic story. Renxue listened in stunned silence. It turned out that her mother hadn't been in love with her father, but with someone named Xiaogang, and had even wanted to leave the spirit hall for him, but her father had refused to let her go, torturing her, locking her away in a secret room, and forcing her to bear his child. Finally, her mother had seized the opportunity, after Tang Hao had severely wounded her father, to kill him. It was unbelievable, overwhelming Renxue's mind. Yet, she believed it completely. There was no other explanation. Besides, her grandfather had always said that Bibi Dong wasn't to blame. Hard to believe, isn't it? A trace of self-mockery crossed Bibi Dong's face as she saw Renxue's shock. Dad, he was like that. Renxue whispered, her faith shattered, the idealized image of her father crumbling before her eyes. Bibi Dong nodded, a flicker of pain in her own eyes. Swear, do you hate me? She asked seriously. Renxue was momentarily lost for words, then shook her head. Xiaogang told me to put myself in your shoes. I'm a woman too. If that had happened to me, I might have become even crazier than you, turning into a dark angel, a killing machine, venting my pain on the whole world, maybe even killing my own child. And do you hate your father? Bibi Dong pressed. This time, Renxue didn't shake her head immediately. She nodded, then shook it again. He was a monster. He wasn't worthy of the angel martial spirit. The whole world can condemn him, but I can't, because I'm his daughter. He brought me into this world and gave me a father's love, however flawed. Bibi Dong was silent, considering Renxue's words. Put yourself in her shoes. She sighed, then took Renxue's hand and sat with her, silently accompanying the daughter she had scorned for 21 years, looking at her daughter's face, now fully grown. Tears streamed down Bibi Dong's cheeks. I was so wrong. I've failed this daughter for 21 years. Fortunately, I still have a chance to make amends. Swear, would you call me Mom? Renxue trembled, tears welling in her eyes. Mom, she whispered softly. Mother and daughter embraced, weeping together. Outside the prince's mansion, the snake spear and guillotine Douluo, serving as bodyguards, stood guard at the entrance, a smile on each of their faces. P.S. In the author's view, Xianxuanji isn't as irredeemable as most people think. He only had one daughter, Renxue, and was only ever involved with Bibi Dong. If he'd truly seen Bibi Dong as just a tool for reproduction, he wouldn't have gone to such lengths to capture the blue-silver emperor for her. He would have wanted Bibi Dong to be weaker than him, so she couldn't resist. Besides, the angel martial spirit isn't said to require a specific lineage. In later Douluo stories, it's clear that if Xianxuanji had treated Bibi Dong as a tool, disregarding her feelings and forcing himself upon her, there would have been more than one child. After all, it doesn't take 9 years to give birth to a child, not even with an angel martial spirit. Also, Bibi Dong said in the finale that Xianxuanji went insane after hearing something, and then knocked her out. It seems clear that Xianxuanji loved Bibi Dong, and his twisted possessiveness, fueled by the arrogance of being a top genius, led him to use that awful method. Of course, this is just the author's opinion, and you're free to disagree. The author isn't trying to excuse Bibi Dong, because she made a huge mistake. After spending so many resources to nurture her, she just left, siding with people from other factions. No one could accept that. Chapter 65 Mother and Daughter Talk. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The mother and daughter cried together, releasing years of pent-up emotion. When they finally calmed down, Renxue wiped her eyes. Mom, she asked, can I ask you something? Of course, honey, Bibi Dong replied softly. You used to say that after Dad hurt you, you wanted to tear down the spirit hall and destroy everything. What changed your mind? Renxue gently took Bibi Dong's hand, resting her head on her shoulder. Bibi Dong paused, then smiled. Honor. He came into my life when I was at my lowest, most hurt, and most confused. Seeing what he's been through, well, it touched me. He became my anchor, a light in the darkness. Oh. Renxue smiled too, picturing him. He was a light for her as well, bringing color to her world. Then she pouted. That guy's been training forever. He hasn't even come to see me. It's outrageous. Renxue clenched her fists. She'd decided that no matter why he hadn't visited, she was going to beat him up when he finally showed his face. Bibi Dong hesitated. Swear, Hana really won't be able to see you for a while. Renxue blinked, her eyes wide. Why, Mom? Bibi Dong took a breath. He's in the city of slaughter. What? Renxue shot to her feet. Mom, you know how dangerous that place is. Why would you let him go there? Bibi Dong didn't mention Tang Hao almost killing Bibi Han. She didn't want Renxue to freak out. Instead, she said vaguely, it's what he wanted to do. Seeing Renxue was about to protest, Bibi Dong smiled and pulled her back down. Hey, if Hana can't even handle that place, how can I trust him with you? Renxue's angry face flushed red. Her usual aloofness vanished, replaced by girlish embarrassment. She playfully shoved Bibi Dong's arm, muttering, Mom, you're making things up. I don't like him. Bibi Dong chuckled, shaking her head. Please. I've been there, honey. I see the way you look at him. Renxue looked up, a hint of anxiety in her eyes. You don't mind? Bibi Dong smiled kindly. Why would I? I practically raised Hana. Looks, talent, character, he's got it all. I can trust him with you. And I can tell he's crazy about you. Hearing her mother's blessing, Renxue's eyes lit up. Then, a cloud crossed her face. But, he's so carefree. He obviously likes me, but he's still got something going on with that Nar girl. Bibi Dong rubbed Renxue's head. Don't focus on just one thing. Nobody's perfect. You see Hana and Nar, but you don't see how he treats other girls. Yuena from the Spirit Hall Academy is probably even more charming than you are, and she's beautiful. But Hana hasn't given her the time of day. And he met all kinds of beautiful girls during his training, like Huo Wu from the Blazing Academy and Ning Rongrong from the Seven Treasure Glazed Tile School. He wasn't interested. Renxue lowered her head, looking conflicted. Now that she knew Bibi Han liked her, her pride couldn't stand the thought of him giving another woman the time of day. If it weren't for Nar, Renxue would have taken care of it a long time ago. Bibi Dong's expression turned serious. Schwer, it's rare to find a good man in the Soul Master world, someone who's worthy of you. I don't want you to lose Hana because you're being stubborn and regret it later. Seeing Renxue still looked hesitant, Bibi Dong's face slowly hardened. Renxue quickly changed her tune. Okay, Mom, I promise, okay. Forced by her mother, Renxue reluctantly agreed, but she refused to admit it in front of Bibi Han. Chapter 66 The City of Killing, the City of Treasures. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Killing capital. A few days later, Bibi Han emerged from the hell-killing fields to find nearly 100 people waiting outside. He surveyed the crowd, his eyes cold, and said evenly, not a bad turnout. Looks like another brawl is brewing. Let's get him. He fought 4 rounds today, he's gotta be drained. We take him down now, or we're next. Drained. Please, Bibi Han felt a surge of disdain. They had no clue about the resilience of the blue-silver god. He activated the Eye of Truth, wary despite the odds. Even he wouldn't be reckless against this many. Then his eyes widened, his gaze shaking. 2 of the 100 were glowing. He knew what that meant, soul bones. The mob, armed with knives, axes, clubs, surged forward. Bibi Han summoned the clear sky hammer, braced himself, muscles bulging, and slammed it into the ground. Boom. The sound reverberated for miles. The ground fractured, sending debris flying. The force threw those closest tumbling. Bibi Han hammered the loose rocks toward the advancing horde. He grabbed more shards mid-air, using Tang Sek's hidden weapon techniques to fling them at eyes and noses. Where'd he learn that? Tang San showed him when he beat Zhao Wuji. With the Eye of Truth and the blue-silver grass, Bibi Han had scanned Tang San's technique, replicating his soul-powered projectile skills. He couldn't master the advanced stuff, but he could copy the basics. Blood blossomed. Dozens went down, dead or writhing. From that first volley, hammer in hand, Bibi Han charged into the fray, cutting through them like a wolf among sheep. As Bibi Han crushed one attacker's skull, a sword thrust through the corpse. Bibi Han's pupils constricted. The clear sky hammer shrank, smashing the blade and grabbing the fragments. He leapt over the brainless corpse, shattering the encirclement. The clear sky hammer returned to full size as he hurled the fragments, hitting 5 in the neck, dropping them instantly. Less than 30 remained. Bibi Han turned, walking slowly towards them. They roared and charged, only to be reduced to mincemeat. Run! He's the devil. We can't beat him, Point One shouted, trying to start a stampede. The rest watched their teammates flee and join them. Bibi Han looked like a bloodthirsty demon. His blue robe was soaked red, flecked with gore and bits of flesh. Blood covered his hair and face. He watched the retreating figures, then locked onto one and gave chase. What the hell? Why me, with so many others? The fleeing man screamed. Because you have what I want. The man realized he couldn't outrun him. He spun, swinging an axe. Bibi Han caught the axe on the back of his hand. Blue blood streamed down, revealing the bone, but Bibi Han didn't flinch. The axe wielder stared in horror. You're not human. Bibi Han paused, then laughed. You're right. I'm not exactly purebred. Feeling the pain, a flicker of nostalgia crossed his eyes. Master Gene Crocodile, your Phase 2 training really paid off. I miss those days. He grabbed the man's neck and crushed his throat, then he ripped off the left hand, revealing a dark purple soul bone. Bibi Han returned to the corpses, found the other glowing body, and claimed a right leg bone. They're 10,000-year soul bones. One is a 1-year bone, and the other is a 3-year one. The killing city has tens of thousands of people and has been around for ages. How many soul bones are hidden here? Bibi Han's face lit up. The killing city should be renamed the treasure city. In minutes, the deep gash on Bibi Han's hand had healed. The blue-silver god was insane. The next day, Bibi Han woke up late, wanting to be at peak condition. He was planning something big. He walked to the hell-killing field, going through the usual procedures, but the attendant looked at him with a hint of fear. Word had spread. Bibi Han had killed 100 people single-handedly. The killing city was buzzing. When he entered the arena, everyone eyed him warily. The 9 challengers huddled together, calculating that their odds were slightly better together. They expected Bibi Han to charge in, guns blazing, but instead, he sprouted wings and soared. Blue light blasted from his eyes. 2 soul bones flared, and 9 blood flowers bloomed in 10 seconds. The audience stared, dumbfounded. Soul skills were banned in the killing city. That beam had to be a soul bone skill. And the flight, an external soul bone. One that granted flight. Faces shifted from shock to greed. The ability to fly was priceless. Only 3 in the killing city could do it, the killing king, his title Douluo subordinate, and now, Bibi Han. Whether it was for the soul bone treasure or to eliminate a future threat, they had to kill him. The spectators' thoughts churned. The once raucous arena became deathly silent, thick with tension. They all shared the same goal: kill Bibi Han and take his soul bones. After 3 more kills to restore his physical and mental strength to peak, Bibi Han exited the hell-killing field. Darkness loomed. He could see 500 figures, one with a visible soul bone. He was sure there were more, obscured somehow. The sheer number and the chilling atmosphere made Bibi Han think he'd bitten off more than he could chew. Hey, tough guy. Gonna kill yourself, or do we have to do the honors? A burly man waved a huge knife at Bibi Han, sneering. You feeling lucky? Bibi Han slipped a handful of nails from his soul guide. He'd spent the day prepping for this, stuffing sacks with nails and adding lifts to his shoes, doing everything he could to improve his odds. Get him. Someone barked the order. The mob swarmed Bibi Han. He flung dozens of nails. Then he pulled out the sacks and emptied them. Arg! You bastard! My feet! Bibi Han didn't waste breath. Hundreds were coming to kill him. It was his right to set the stage. A brutal clash. Inside the mob, blood and flesh rained. Bibi Han smashed his way through, but he was taking hits. Wounds opened, and blue blood flowed. No, I'm gonna die if this keeps up. The nail bed helped, but there were too many. Every swing of the clear sky hammer took down one or two, but each swing left him open to attacks from 5 more. His body was riddled with cuts, and blood gushed from his mouth. Bibi spun, knocking back the attackers, then used his blue-silver wings to escape. But the mob was ready, launching steel ropes. Damn it! I can't get caught. If I get roped, I'm done for. Bibi grabbed one rope, hammering away at the others. Trapped in a web of steel, he folded his wings and fell, gazing at the hungry faces below. Bibi's eyes turned bloodshot. He grinned savagely. Since there's no escape, you Fallen can taste my true power. Activate Thunder and Blue-Silver domains. Come on, Fallen. In a dirty, hidden corner, a battered man with dark red hair sat, recovering. It was Bibi, barely alive. His body was covered in blood, a uniform dark red. He opened his eyes, exhaled, and said, still alive. This was crazy, but the payoff. He pulled 5 corpses from his storage ring, fallen with soul bones. One had 2, including a head soul bone. Jackpot. 6 soul bones, 100 year, 1000 year, and 4 10,000 year, with age ranging from 1 year, 3 years to 5 years. Jackpot. Chapter 67, Breaking Through the Soul Emperor and Condensing the Soul Ring. You are listening at novelfull.audio. When Bibi was celebrating his potential fortune, the entire city of Slaughter trembled. Imagine over 500 people trying to take down one guy, and not only did he escape, but he managed to kill over 300 of them. That single incident is what earned Bibi his title. The murderous Demon King, drenched in blood, became known as the Blood Demon King. P.S. For those who've read my earlier stuff, you know I'm not great with names, so lay off the teasing, okay? A few months later, Bibi ventured out again. Every degenerate in the city of Slaughter, man or woman, scattered the moment they saw him. The Blood Demon King's out. Everybody run. Before, when Bibi earned the title Fallen, the other fallen folk would just wait for him to pass. Now, they bolted at the first glimpse of him. It's because Bibi had been randomly strolling around the city for months, hammering people to death seemingly at random. Since no one knew his reasons, the Fallen started spreading rumors that the Blood Demon King killed purely for kicks, offing anyone who happened to be in the wrong place at the wrong time. Now, everyone hid whenever possible. Even in the Hell Slaughter fields, they kept at least 15 feet away. Finally finished 50 games yesterday. Guess I'll check out the training ground in the city. But first, he disguised himself and headed to the Hell Slaughter fields to register. Why the disguise? Ever since Bibi's killing spree, the people running the Hell Slaughter fields refused to let him sign up, not even for 5 Bloody Marys. It took someone who blasted through 50 games in a week several months to finally get to one. Sign me up. Number 7777. The person registering stopped writing and looked up at the figure in the black robes. It's the Blood Demon King. Just sign me up, alright? I'll be at the training ground later. Call my name when the competition starts. Bibi got this special treatment because as soon as people knew he was competing, the games usually got cancelled. It saved everyone a ton of time, and in return, Bibi wouldn't hold it against them, so a privilege was earned. Someone then escorted Bibi to an area within the city of Slaughter. This area was even more prosperous than the inner city, specifically for citizens of the Slaughter system, those who had won over 50 matches in the Hell Slaughter fields. A key rule existed here: no random fighting. These people were backed by the city of Slaughter. It wasn't like anywhere else. Bibi scanned the area. This small city of 1,000 people had a surprisingly high number of soul bones, some even having multiple. He felt a powerful urge to kill and grab the loot. During his 2 months in the city of Slaughter, Bibi had already offed a number of people. Murderous and violent energy swirled around him, noticeably changing his personality. Sensing his murderous intent, a counselor said, "Mr. Blood Demon King, you shouldn't be so impulsive. Breaking the rules and massacring citizens of the city of slaughter would make you an enemy of the city itself. The counselor was a surprisingly attractive woman with a sweet voice, for obvious reasons. I don't need the reminder. Just take me to the training area. They arrived at a special place with black soil. A long river of blood flowed underground, and the air was thick with violent energy, perfect for training. Bibi walked to the river of blood, sat cross-legged, and prepared to train. Mr. Blood Demon King, one more reminder. Although you can't kill people here at will, they can challenge you for your training spot. Next to the blood river, Bibi started drawing energy into his body. After a moment, a strange substance appeared on the surface of his skin, a mix of the violent energy in the air and some other weird stuff, but Bibi possessed the blue-silver divine body. It wouldn't allow such a thing to penetrate, it filtered it out immediately. The toxic soul power absorbed was directly purified and then assimilated. After a while, Bibi opened his eyes, a hint of annoyance in his gaze. This is too slow. Too many impurities, which are really hindering the energy absorption. Looking at the vibrant river of blood below, he muttered, absorbing soul power isn't really helping my cultivation. What's in there shouldn't even be considered soul power, but some kind of spiritual energy from the world. My blue-silver god has the ability to absorb soul power. Can it absorb the energy in the blood pool and allow me to cultivate? Trying it out, Bibi summoned the blue-silver divine martial spirit, extending a vine into the blood river. Focusing, he pulled a ball of pure energy from it and inhaled it into his body. Closing his eyes, Bibi smiled. It worked. The energy in the blood pool could be used for his cultivation. As long as it was converted into soul power within his body, he could use it. The city of slaughter was a treasure trove, the vines of the blue-silver god extended deeper into the blood pool. Bibi closed his eyes and focused on his training. With the abundant energy flowing in, his progress was unbelievably fast. As Bibi trained, lost in his own world, a harsh voice broke through, "Hey kid, I'm taking your spot." Get lost. Bibi's eyes snapped open, filled with murderous intent. No one likes their training interrupted, and Bibi's intent was stronger than ever, hardened from his time in the city of slaughter. His eyes, blazing with anger, landed on a scarred, burly figure. You still want to stare me down? I'm Bloody Tiger, winner of 78 games in the Hell Slaughter Fields. If you don't want to die, get out. Bibi slowly rose to his feet, and the Haotian divine hammer materialized in his hand. Boom, a figure, covered in blood with twisted limbs, was launched out of the training area. None other than the Bloody Tiger who was doing all the yelling. Bibi slowly walked out of the training area and looked down at the fallen Shuehu with cold eyes. Shuehu said in a panic, You can't kill me. If you kill me, you'll face the punishment of the King of Slaughter. Bibi smiled, and stepped on Shuehu's right hand, crushing it. Arg. Bibi's voice was casual as he said, I'm not going to kill you, but your hand and the storage ring on it will serve as an apology for interrupting my training. Bibi then returned to the training area. From that point on, Bibi was either notified to fight in the Hell Slaughter Fields or could be found training by the Blood River. He would occasionally return to his house for a quick nap to unwind. As for the training spot, he'd either kick someone else out or would himself destroy anyone who tried to challenge him for it. After a few encounters, no fallen person in any area dared to challenge Bibi. Phew, after 5 months, I finally broke through to level 60. Training here increases my level almost every month, it's great. But I still haven't received my 5th gift pack yet. I'm already level 60. After thinking it over for a while, he relaxed. Forget it, it's time to try the soul ring condensation method that Blue Silver King taught me. According to the memories given to him by the Blue Silver King, condensing soul rings was similar to building a house. The rings themselves were the shell, and the energy was stored inside. The stronger the energy inside, the more the color of the shell changes. For example, 100-year soul ring. After a soul beast cultivated for a certain period of time, the energy inside the soul ring would reach a certain level, and the soul ring would turn yellow. The cultivation level of the soul beast had reached 100 years, so it was called 100-year soul ring. As the soul ring's energy grew stronger and stronger, the soul ring would become more and more yellow, and after 800 years, as the energy of the soul ring continued to increase, the soul ring would become more and more purple. At a certain level, it would completely turn purple, which was the 1,000-year soul ring. According to what the Blue Silver King said, soul beasts who exceeded 10,000 years would experience a thunder tribulation every 10,000 years. It was said that soul rings would change after experiencing the tribulation, but the Blue Silver King didn't know what those changes would be. As a blue star traveler, Bibi knew that a golden streak would appear on the soul ring after each tribulation, rather than the ring becoming increasingly red. Chapter 68 10,000 Years Soul Ring. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Blue Silver Domain. A wave of blue light washed over everything, isolating it all. The air felt pure, even calming the violence simmering inside Bibi. In his right hand, the blue-silver grass pulsed, drawing energy from the blood river as a white soul ring materialized above it. Creating the soul ring was just the first step. Next, he had to pierce a hole in it, and then infuse it with soul power. It sounded simple, but honestly, only the first step was easy. The other two were ridiculously hard. After the soul ring formed, opening that hole was crucial. Too small, and the soul power would trickle in, a frustratingly slow process. Inject too much power later, and it would burst, ruining the ring. Too large, and other structural weaknesses could open, leading to energy leakage and eventual disintegration. He activated the Eye of Truth, channeling the power of his head soul bone, bolstering his spiritual focus. He gazed at the white soul ring, carefully separating his soul power bit by bit. Damn! Too much pressure, that the soul ring flickered, faded, and vanished. Crap, another failure. And this was a new one. Bibi sighed. He paused, thinking. Am I being too impatient? Yeah, this environment's making it impossible to calm down and concentrate. Whatever, I'll keep practicing. At least the soul power accumulates. 5 months passed. Bibi had been in Killing City for almost a year, completing the Hell Killing Fields 83 times. It had been a week since his last fight, and still no match. No sign of the necessary 10 challengers. Bibi, deep in the blood pool, noticed a change. His soul power felt denser. He stumbled upon the realization by chance. He usually activated the blue-silver domain before bed to clear his head, but this time, he found it lasted 10 minutes instead of 6, that meant his total soul power had increased by 5/6. Through experiments, he figured out that the density of his soul power had changed. The proof? Stimulating the same percentage of soul power to power the clear sky hammer made the hammer noticeably larger. It was the fundamental law of soul power conservation. Human soul power reserves were limited. Bibi had been absorbing the soul power from the blood pool. Some of it was stored, and when that storage reached its limit, it flowed into his own soul power, compressing it and increasing its density. Bibi was ecstatic about the discovery. 5 more months went by, and he'd hit 99 Hell Killing Field completions. But Bibi wasn't planning on facing the final challenge. He wasn't refusing a match, he just didn't want to leave. Why would he leave such a killer spot like Killing City? But now, he had to. He felt like his soul power was maxed out, his body bloated. He couldn't compress it any further. Any more pressure, and his meridians would give way, and he'd explode. Still, the gains were immense. The quality of his soul power was 2.5 times better than before. Beside the blood pool, a blue light pulsed. It had been going on for days, surrounding a figure with hair like a bird's nest. Ripped clothes, skin coated in grime, he looked like a beggar. But his eyes burned with an icy intensity. 3 days. Finally calmed down. Time to witness the magic. Hope this works. A white ring appeared above Bibi right hand. He'd done this 1,000 times, so step 1 came naturally. Step 2, opening the soul ring. Bibi focused his mind to its limit. With the blue-silver domain supporting him, his heart wasn't racing, it was perfectly calm. Guided by his soul power, a tiny hole appeared. Is this it? Energy pulsed at the opening, like it wanted to escape but couldn't. Bibi Han smiled. Remember your size. Step 3, infusing soul power. He held a blade of blue-silver grass close to the opening. The tip was exactly the size of the hole, a trick he'd discovered through countless failures. Bibi Han spoke to the blue-silver god in his hand. Here we go, blue-silver god. This soul ring is for you. As the soul power flowed, the ring shifted color, white, yellow, black, then red. He felt the blue-silver god's excitement and couldn't help but feel a little bummed. Was this it? No 6 rings in 100,000 years like Tang San. I suck at power-ups. Still, come on. The soul ring wrapped around him, and a wave of intense power surged through his body, flooding his brain with violence. Bibi Han's eyes turned blood red, radiating rage. The blue-silver god pushed back, eyes flickering from blue to red. Damn, this hurts like hell. Why do I want to kill everything? People training nearby heard the roar and moved to investigate, but fear of the Blood Demon King kept them away. Hearing the commotion, Bibi Han panicked. Crap, people are outside. If they see me like this, I'm toast. He quickly thought up a plan. I want to kill someone. I can't take it anymore. Anyone here to fight me? I haven't drawn blood in days. Insane laughter echoed out. Hearing that, everyone scattered. The Blood Demon King had the urge to fight. If they didn't run, they were getting their limbs chopped off. That worked. Bibi Han focused all his energy on the soul ring. A soul ring thinks it can drive me crazy. Surrender. Half a day later, boom. Bibi Han released a surge of power as the red and black soul ring settled around him. He had succeeded. He'd finally absorbed it. His soul power had reached level 62. And the soul skill he gained was blue-silver blood rain, not healing, but an incredibly deadly killer skill. Activating the skill turned the blue-silver grass into a giant blood flower that rained blood. Anyone standing under the rain would have their life force steadily corroded. Even a soul saint would be reduced to bones in under a minute. This is terrifying. Why this soul skill? How am I supposed to use this? Guess I'll have to. The spirit hall's going to come after me, since this is basically what evil soul masters do. Then a thought struck him, and his worried expression vanished. When he absorbed the soul ring, he felt a very strong violent energy. Had the blood pool's energy been used to create this kind of soul skill? The more he thought about it, the more it made sense. The violent, bloodthirsty energy of the blood pool was just like the effect of the skill. That meant soul rings and skills condensed here would be perfect for the clear sky hammer. He should go outside, kill a lot to increase the success rate of the next absorption, and see if he could get another power-up. The soul ring was a similar color to Grandpa Ju's 9th soul ring. It must be close to 95,000 years old. He should try the 10,000-year first soul ring of the clear sky hammer first. Before condensing it, Bibi Han set up several small formations to conceal his presence. The pain of absorbing a 10,000-year soul ring was more than Bibi Han could imagine. If he screamed instead of shouting, those people would be on him in seconds. Same operation, same opening, soul power surges. The black and red soul ring appeared. It was just a little bit off, so he had to be careful. As the last bit of soul power transferred, a blood-red soul ring materialized. The treasure that all soul masters dreamed of, a 100,000-year soul ring. P.S. The author wants to power up the protagonist. The final boss is too strong. Without power-ups and no teammates, how can we beat him? Chapter 69 The True Power of the God-Level Clear Sky Hammer. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Let's go, Clear Sky Hammer. This is your first soul ring. At that moment, Bibi Han sensed the blue-silver god trembling, warning him of danger. Are you saying I might die if I absorb this? The blue-silver god nodded. Bibi Han paused, then said, just might? It's not a sure thing. I'm willing to gamble for that near-death experience. Anyone overhearing that would think Bibi Han had lost it. Who seeks out death? I know you're looking out for me, but I've gained enough combat experience this past year. What I'm missing is that brush with death. Only then will I truly master the second level of training. If I become perfect, I'll be unstoppable. And even if my body can't handle it, you'll heal me, right? Bibi Han added casually, alright, you 10,000-year soul ring, here we go. As he began to absorb the ring, unbearable pain surged through Bibi Han's body, blood oozed from every pore, veins popping all over. The clear sky hammer's absolute power pushed back against the ring's violent aura, lessening the mental strain. Soon, Bibi Han was covered in blood, his blue hair turning white. A scream escaped his lips, a desperate attempt to release the agony. Meanwhile, in a secluded part of Spirit Hall, Renxue and Nar were sparring fiercely. Nar's soul power had reached level 51, making her the strongest of the younger generation in Spirit Hall. She could take on 3 members of the Golden Generation single-handedly. She was the undisputed goddess of Spirit Hall. Renxue, at level 67, suppressed her power to match Na. Sacred sword clashed with silver dragon gun, sparks flying. Angelic realm met elemental realm. The two figures darted back and forth, unleashing power that would shame even soul emperors. Suddenly, a powerful figure appeared, halting their fight. Alright, Schwer, Nar, that's enough. Time to eat. Mother. Teacher. Bibi Dong embraced them, leading them towards the papal palace. At the table, she said, Schwer, eat up. These are all your favorites. You'll be heading back soon. Thanks, Mom. Since clearing the air a year ago, the distance between mother and daughter had vanished, and their bond was stronger than ever. I wonder how Xiaogang is doing. He's been in the city of slaughter for almost a year and a half. Big brother will definitely make it out. He's invincible. Yes, Honor will definitely return. Over at Shrek Academy, Tang San was nearing the end of his detoxifying process with Douluo. Back in the city of slaughter, Bibi Han stared blankly at the ceiling, covered in blue blood, surrounded by a crimson soul ring. He had no idea how long he'd been holding on. His vision blurred, and his consciousness seemed to fade. In the haze, he saw a beam of light, coming from a giant hundreds of meters tall. The giant held a massive hammer, radiating power. The giant seemed to sense him, turning to look at Bibi Han, surprise in his eyes. He mouthed the words, "He's worthy of being my chosen one. His talent, courage, and integrity are outstanding. Daring to challenge a 10,000-year soul ring. I'm here to help." The giant pointed, and a ray of light enveloped Bibi Han. He spoke again. "The fate of this continent rests on your shoulders. Don't let them become pawns of the gods." Bibi Han nodded solemnly as the giant dissolved into starlight. Back in reality, a roar tore from Bibi Han as his body seemed to explode, blue blood spurting everywhere. A red beam of light burst from his formation and shot into the sky, radiating intense power. Bibi Han opened bloodshot eyes and exhaled. Finally. "Thank you, Senior." A wave of sadness washed over him. "We'll never meet again." After regaining his composure, Bibi Han focused on the power of the 10,000-year soul skill. The ring had granted him 2 skills. The first, Bloodthirst Hammer, turned his hammer red and threw Bibi Han into a berserk state. All hammer abilities increased by 300% for 3 minutes, with a 3-hour cooldown. The second, 1000-gene heavy hammer, concentrated all the power from the soul ring into a single blow, unleashing devastating force while only consuming 1% of his soul power. Excitement filled Bibi Han at the thought of such power, only to be replaced by confusion. Wait a minute, why hasn't my soul power increased at all after absorbing a 10,000-year ring? Still level 62. Come to think of it, my soul power didn't increase after absorbing the 95,000-year ring either. My level 62 is just from accumulated soul power. Damn it. Absorbing soul rings this way doesn't increase my soul power at all. It only breaks through bottlenecks. It really has pros and cons. The advantage was that, without the soul vibration from the soul beast, soul masters could potentially absorb more powerful rings. The disadvantage was the lack of immediate soul power increase, requiring more time and effort in training. Hearing quick footsteps, Bibi looked up, his eyes turning cold. Moments later, dozens of figures burst into Bibi training area. They sized up his bloodied appearance and began to laugh. An ugly guy with tattoos snarled. Well, if it isn't the famous Blood Demon King. Why so banged up? That red light just now, sounds like what happens after absorbing a 10,000-year soul ring. Blood Demon King, care to tell us what went down here? Bibi replied icily, no comment. Leave now, before I lose my temper, and you might live. Ha ha ha. Just look at you. Can't you see how bad you're hurt? Pushing his body too far in absorbing the 10,000-year ring, Bibi body had been severely injured. The tattooed man licked his lips. Didn't know your blood was blue. I'm dying to taste it. Another one chimed in, he's not a citizen of the city of slaughter anyway. No rules against killing him. How about we chop him up and have a taste later? Sounds good. Hold on. A beautiful girl stepped forward. Black Rose, what are you up to? The tattooed man eyed her nervously. Nothing. Just want to catch him and enjoy myself before you carve him up. What's wrong with that? Black Rose flashed a rose-shaped weapon in her hand. Someone echoed, sounds good to me. We all want to get in on this. That pretty boy's got great skin. Gotta feel that. Ha ha ha. You've really pissed me off now. Even if the King of Slaughter shows up, I'll kill every last one of you. Bibi said with a dangerous smile. The moment he grasped the clear sky hammer, he sensed a difference. It wasn't just the increased size and more violent lightning, it was the connection to his very mind. After absorbing the soul ring, the hammer weighed 2,000 pounds and turned into a true battle spirit weapon. But in Bibi hands, it felt like it weighed only 40. Alright, everyone, get him. First one to subdue him gets first dibs. As soon as he finished speaking, someone lunged forward. I want the Blood Demon King's first time. Ha ha ha. That it was a man known as Iron Hand, equipped with 2 mechanical arms, which he used to grab Bibi Bibi eyes flashed. He swung his left hand, shattering Iron Hand's mechanical arm on the spot. Iron Hand crashed into the wall, dead. Currents of electricity still crackled through his body. Is this the hammer's true strength? Bibi wondered. Powerful attack. If it hits a metal-based soul master, they'll be paralyzed. It'll reduce a soul emperor's mobility by 30%, and a soul saint's by 15%. The more hits, the greater the paralysis. It's insane. Even if Xiaoshue's sacred sword just nicks a hair on my head, it will cost me 10% of my soul power. I thought the clear sky hammer was just about brute force, but it has this powerful paralysis effect too. Iron Hand. Everyone, attack at once. We better kill him first. There are plenty of pretty boys among the evil soul masters in the city of slaughter. We can do without this one. You think you can kill me? Thunder Domain. After absorbing the soul ring, Bibi thunder domain had grown stronger. The range had expanded to 100 meters, and the paralysis ability had increased from 10% to 20%. Bibi became a one-man slaughter machine. Corpses littered the ground in his wake. This was a massacre. Chapter 70, Making a Fortune Before Leaving. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Inside the slaughter capital, a vast, dark room, a colossal chair dominated the space, inlaid with blue and purple crystals that formed a drum tower shape. Everything but this chair was a deep, ominous red. The Blood Demon King is on a rampage in the citizen district, King. Hundreds are dead. I know, a tall figure responded, sinking into the giant chair. His face was hidden in shadow, only the outline of his slender form visible. He was furious, yet felt utterly powerless. Your Majesty, why not unleash the enforcers to eliminate him? If this continues, Slaughter City will be crippled. I'm convinced he can navigate Hell Road. He's the most terrifying slaughter god I've ever encountered. The Slaughter King's voice was cold. It's not like I haven't wanted to erase him completely. But a year ago, we received a guest. A guest? Yes. One of the only two remaining slaughter gods. Could the Blood Demon King be connected to the god of death? A woman's voice, edged with fear, trembled slightly. The Slaughter King replied calmly, "You guessed it. The real threat to Slaughter City isn't the Spirit Hall, it's those two slaughter gods. I can't afford to antagonize them. Remember, those who survive Hell Road can still use their spirit abilities within Slaughter City. This Blood Demon King. He was sent by one of them. I see. And technically, he hasn't truly broken any rules. While I don't want another slaughter god to emerge, I'm even less willing to face the wrath of the existing one." He left unspoken the fear that the slaughter god's aura inspired in him. Facing Bibi Dong directly, in a fight, he would die. He had finally become king, surrounded by slaves and living like a god. He wasn't about to throw it all away. Meanwhile, in the citizen district, Bibi Han finished off another victim. Alright, time to kill anyone who shows up with soul bones. Regular folks are off limits. Remembering the counselor's advice from his first day in Slaughter City, he grinned. An idea began to form. Just as he was about to pick up his hammer and head to the Hell Slaughter Fields, he paused, taking a sharp breath after a few steps. Whoa, is my injury that bad? Guess I'll go heal up first. The Hell Slaughter Fields had been buzzing with anticipation since Bibi Han's month-long absence. Two fighters were locked in mortal combat when a golden hammer suddenly flew from the stands, crushing one of them. Bibi Han landed in the arena, retrieving his weapon. The remaining fighter was stunned. Was the Blood Demon King helping him? He started to thank the notorious killer, but then a golden hammer filled his vision. With a sickening thud, he too was obliterated. The audience stared at Bibi Han in disbelief. It's the Blood Demon King. He broke the rules of the Hell Slaughter Fields. Oblivious to the uproar, Bibi Han simply stood in the arena, hammer in hand, and waited patiently. Moments later, a voice boomed, "Blood Demon King, you have violated the rules of the Hell Slaughter Fields. By order of the Slaughter King, whoever kills the Blood Demon King within 1 day will be granted a position second only to the Slaughter King himself within Slaughter City, and the right to drink Bloody Mary freely. If, after 1 day, the Blood Demon King still lives, his violation will be forgiven." The enforcer's announcement echoed through the Hell Slaughter Fields and across Slaughter City. The entire city erupted in chaos. Second only to the king. That meant absolute power within Slaughter City. Greed ignited in the eyes of everyone in Slaughter City as they converged on the Hell Slaughter Fields, eager to kill Bibi Han. A mob swarmed the arena. Hearing the announcement, Bibi Han smirked. Not a bad reward. The Slaughter King is sure throwing money at the problem. But this is exactly what I want. You fallen ones, don't even think about leaving a single soul bone to me. Opening his eyes and raising his hammer, Bibi Han saw the mob of killers heading straight for him. Pathetic, he thought. None of them have soul bones. You're all useless trash. I'm not looking for you, so get out of my way. Bibi Han swung his hammer in a wide arc. The shocking power and domineering force of the clear sky hammer unleashed a powerful gust of wind, sending anyone within range flying. They hadn't even been hit. After absorbing the spirit ring, the clear sky hammer's power was unlike anything he had ever seen, and his potential had been fully unlocked. Bibi Han's physical abilities had also increased dramatically. The 95,000-year and 10-year spirit rings had boosted his physical fitness to an incredible level, and his spirit power had increased by 2.5 times. Now, no matter how many of these degenerates came, Bibi Han would not look down upon them. What he wanted was the soul bones. Facing the charging horde, Bibi Han scanned them with his true sight, unfurled his blue-silver wings, and burst through the window, landing on the roof of the Hell Slaughter Fields. He quietly watched the masses gather. Darkness surrounded the arena, now packed with thousands of people, including desperate outsiders hoping for a lucky break. Looks like every degenerate in Slaughter City wants a piece of me. Perfect. Standing on the roof, Bibi Han surveyed the scene with a confident smirk, his eyes burning with excitement. 30 people with soul bones. And there have to be more. As the crowd swelled, the rooftops began to groan under the strain. His eyes flashed aqua blue, and beams of white light shot downward. This was the spirit ability attached to his true sight, obliterating purple light. The spirit beams ripped through the crowd, leaving a trail of carnage. With Bibi Han's spirit power density increased by 2.5 times, the power of his spirit beam had also increased by 2.5 times. With the cultivation level of a Soul Emperor, it was equivalent to the combined force of 2.5 Soul Emperor's full power attacks. Definitely a cheating spirit ability in Slaughter City. Beam after beam pulverized the dense mob, leaving them nowhere to hide. The crowd finally retreated to a distance of 40 meters. Bibi Han's spirit beams had a range of 50 meters, so they had found a safe distance. Bibi Han smirked. He whirled around and grabbed the two fallen ones who had been attempting to sneak up on him from the window. They were caught like chickens, ensnared by blue-silver grass that drained their spirit power. Soul abilities might be banned in Slaughter City, but Bibi Han's passive spirit abilities were still active. Otherwise, he would never have been able to absorb the energy from the Blood River. After replenishing his spirit power, Bibi Han snapped their necks, then unfurled his blue-silver wings and soared from the roof, landing on a nearby sloped building. This building was shaped like a quarter circle, 10 meters tall, and several dozen meters long and wide at its base. The space under the arc of the roof was living quarters. For spirit masters, they could run up to the roof from the arc. In the Killing City, some idiots who want to be famous will climb up and scream. He had specifically chosen this unique building in preparation for this massacre. No matter how powerful Bibi Han was now, he couldn't fight his way through thousands of people. After all, he wasn't Madara Uchiha. Even Madara would die of exhaustion if he had to cut down tens of thousands of people with his sword. Bibi Han raised his hammer, pointing it at the circling mob. "Come on," he taunted, "come up here and kill me. Kill me, and you'll be second only to the king himself, above all others." As he spoke, Bibi Han's eyes flashed red, making him look like a ravenous demon. Chapter 71 The Deal with the King of Slaughter. You are listening at novelfull.audio. A brutal battle raged across the fan-shaped house. A blue-haired kid wielding a golden hammer was mowing down fallen ones as they clawed their way up. Bodies tumbled from the roof, splattering blood everywhere, forming a disgusting pile of corpses on the ground. Blood flowed freely, turning the entire rooftop crimson. Stepping there would likely result in a splash of gore. Eat this. Bibi Han channeled soul power into the clear sky hammer, enlarging it into a bulldozer-like weapon that he slammed down. More fallen ones were flung from the roof, limbs breaking upon impact. Those who survived the fall were immediately killed by the people below, who then used the bodies to build a gruesome ladder. This is a pain. Hundreds of these guys, and still no soul bones. Bibi Han said, clearly annoyed as he watched the relentless stream of fallen ones climbing up. He shattered the arms of a fallen one whose power level he couldn't discern, grabbed him by the neck, and then swung the body around, clearing a wide space. Suddenly, blue-silver god vines erupted, attempting to drain his soul power. The Blood Demon King is absorbing soul power to replenish his strength. He's running out of steam. We're almost there. Hearing this, a fresh wave of fallen ones charged forward. Bibi Han scoffed, idiots. My soul power consumption is only at 15%. Absorbing soul power is just a precaution. He kicked the fallen one he held, sending him tumbling down, taking several others with him. Then, Bibi Han noticed that most of the fallen ones were hanging back, waiting for the ladder to be complete before attacking en masse. Smart idea. Fine, he thought, I'll play along. Another round of savage killing commenced. Bibi Han carefully controlled his strength, positioning the corpses strategically to create a makeshift staircase. Finally, after what seemed like forever, the house was completely encircled by corpses. The stairs were complete, and countless killers roared, stampeding up the bloody pile. They were ecstatic, even more so than Bibi Han. Nearly every corpse they stepped on had been struck, and faint traces of lightning still crackled around them, making their legs tremble with each step. but they didn't care. Murder and greed had clouded their minds. Killing the Blood Demon King meant unlimited power, beautiful women, and all the Bloody Marys they could drink. Compared to those rewards, death was meaningless. The Thunder Domain activated, and the blue-silver divine vine wrapped around Bibi, leaving only his bloodthirsty eyes visible. Bibi finally unleashed his full power, assuming the most deadly stance he possessed within the killing city. A chilling, bloody aura exploded outwards, and Bibi fought back with everything he had. Every fallen one in his path became another soul claimed by the hammer, and he ignored the blows raining down on him. The weapons that struck him merely left minor marks on the blue-silver divine vine. Fear finally crept into some of their hearts. What the hell? Stop pushing. I'm out. Let me out. Come on. There are so many of us. Even a titled Douluo using soul skills would be exhausted. Bull. I don't know if we can kill him, but I sure as hell know I'll die before we do. Get out of my way, or I'll cut you down. The ghostly voice returned. Death. More corpses piled up. Why aren't you guys coming up? Bibi stood in the thickest pool of blood, cracking his neck and rotating his arms to loosen up. Completely drenched in blood, he radiated an almost palpable murderous intent. Damn it! That murderous intent is almost solid. How many people has he killed? Some fallen ones glanced around nervously at the sea of bodies. With this many of us, we still need to be afraid? If we attack together, the Slaughter King's reward will be ours. Someone shouted, and the crowd surged forward. Bibi, encased in blue-silver grass, grinned menacingly. You guys don't have soul bones, so you'll just become nutrients for my god of killing domain. The battle cries were deafening. From a distance, all that could be seen was a swirling mass of bodies, people flying through the air, and a rain of blood and severed limbs. In this chaos, some finally remembered the emotion that should have been left behind when entering the killing city. Fear. People began to flee, one by one at first, then in a panic. On the rooftop, Bibi blocked the martial arts attacks of several fallen ones with his hammer. Seeing the rout, he erupted. Veins bulged on his hands as he knocked aside the attackers. Activating his blue-silver wings, he slammed the hammer into the roof. The building started to collapse. Bibi stomped his foot, launching himself into the air. Spotting a fallen one with a soul bone, he dropped from the sky and brought the hammer down. Boom. A crater appeared, instantly killing over a dozen people. He collected the corpse of the fallen one with the soul bone and took off again. A few desperate fallen ones tried to restrain Bibi with an iron ring, but purple lightning coursed through the ring, teaching them a painful lesson. He grabbed the chains attached to it, swung them a few times, and then slammed them into a wall, killing them instantly. As a result, no one else dared to touch the chains, simply praying that Bibi wouldn't choose them as his next target. Boom. 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 As Bibi took to the air once more, a figure descended. This figure was slender, with fleshy wings on its back, draped in a huge scarlet cloak, and had blood-red hair and eyes. Slaughter King! Slaughter King! The fleeing fallen ones shouted, their voices filled with fanatic devotion. Bibi aimed his hammer at the newcomer. You want to stop me? After killing so many people, Bibi eyes burned with murderous intent and madness, his sanity almost gone. Blood Demon King, tens of thousands have died by your hand. If you continue to rampage, I will be forced to act. The Slaughter King unleashed an overwhelming aura. Bibi remained unfazed, retorting, they have what I want. Once I get it, I'll stop things. What do you want? The soul bones, of course, Bibi replied greedily. He noticed that the Slaughter King himself possessed 6 soul bones, all of exceptional quality, but unfortunately, they were unattainable. Bibi also observed something else. The Slaughter King's body contained 2 opposing energies, one red and the other black. The red energy was slowly consuming the black, and had already spread from the upper body down his arms and legs. Seeing this, Bibi sanity began to return. He remembered that this man's body originally belonged to his ancestor, Tang Qian. A bat-like creature had taken it over and was gradually corrupting it. The red energy likely allowed the Slaughter King to wield a level 95 strength. In another 10 years, the corruption would reach the Slaughter King's arms, granting him not only the ability to use the Clear Sky Hammer, but also power beyond level 96. Once the corruption was complete, the true demigod strength would be unleashed. Soul bones? Yes. Bibi Han retrieved a corpse from his storage ring, severed its right hand, and revealed a soul bone. You can actually see the soul bones on Soul Masters. The Slaughter King looked surprised. By the way, Slaughter King, how about we make a deal? The Slaughter King responded with disdain. You think you're worthy of negotiating with me? Huh, why not? I am the Holy Son of the Spirit Hall, and most likely the next Pope. Not. I can guarantee that the Spirit Hall will never attack the City of Slaughter. The City of Slaughter will remain in this world forever, provided that you give me all the soul bones accumulated here over thousands of years. Without those soul bones, the City of Slaughter will be greatly weakened. When the City of Slaughter faces your Spirit Hall, won't the threat be greatly reduced? Your wishful thinking is misguided. Bibi Han looked at him as if he was an idiot. Whether the killing city has strength or not is irrelevant. Isn't its primary purpose to imprison countless criminals from the outside world and maintain order on the mainland? I'm trying to protect it, not destroy it. I swear that as long as the killing city doesn't cause trouble, the Spirit Hall, after acquiring the soul bones, will never invade it and will provide enough food and water for its continued existence. The Slaughter King considered this. The people below watched silently, not daring to breathe as the two powerful figures discussed their fate. Is what you say true, that the Slaughter King's body was Tang Qian's, but the nine-headed Bat King controlled it, its lifespan extremely long? It intended to wait until Tang Qian's body died of old age before transferring its consciousness to another host, continuing its reign as the Slaughter King. Preserving the City of Slaughter indefinitely was certainly in its best interest. Of course. Okay, then I'll trust you this once. Come with me.